Welcome back, Lorcana players, it's Poisonous. In today's video, we're gonna do some live gameplay that I recorded at my LGS this week. Before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to everyone. We hit 1,000 subscribers. I've been talking about this for quite a while, and I'm really pumped to say that all of your support has gotten us there, and that's a huge deal, so thank you so much. So this week at my LGS, we decided to play post-rotation Fabled using proxies in your deck if you wanted to run any of the new cards. And I recorded some gameplay, so this is going to be a Blurple matchup versus red-blue, and it was a lot of fun, but I also realized that there's a lot of refinement still that needs to happen, and I think it's the same for everyone, so it's hopeful that there's going to be some interesting stuff. So here's a quick look at the deck list. This isn't a deck breakdown video, so I'm not going to dive all the way into it, but for the Blurple list, we're running Dumbo and Ursula, and the Magic Feather to kind of pop off with Monstro the Whale. So it's a pretty standard Blurple list. It's been updated to fight aggro a little bit better, so it's got some 1-drops instead of the previous list that didn't have the 1-drops. And I'm also testing out some cards like Elsa, Spirit of Winter. For the red-blue list, this is an action-based Powerline DINO list. So it's running Robin Hood, Powerline, and then cards like Down in New Orleans, Dig a Little Deeper, Pirate's Life. So it's really relying on actions and kind of chaining together your Robin Hood, your Powerline, getting multiple hits and big value to kind of high roll. So it's a lot of fun. I think that it was an interesting matchup. So let's get into the gameplay. So in this match, I'm on the play with the Blurple deck. We ink Bell and pass. We don't have a 1-drop to play here. Our opponent inks. They play Develop. So they're playing red-blue DINO down in New Orleans. So they put one in hand and one on the bottom. We ink Ursula. Play Sail. So we do have our ramp here, which is important, especially when playing another ramp deck. We ink a Hypnotic Strength and pass there. We don't have a 1-drop still to play to put up with the Sail. So our opponent plays Tipo, which allows them to ink another card. So we finally draw a 1-drop, but it's too late now, so we're going to ink Diablo. We're going to play Dumbo. This new Dumbo legendary seems really strong. They ink and they play Robin Hood, so this lets them quest and play an action that costs 6 or less from the top of their deck. He's a big threat, so ideally here I'd have an Elsa so I could exert it and take it out before it gets to go, but I don't have a way to deal with it. So we pay 1 to use Dumbo's effect, which lets us exert him, and pay 1 ink to gain 1 lore and draw a card. It's a nice little draw engine. We ink a card and then we play Genie, drawing another card, so we're setting up some nice evasives. But he's going to get a Robin Hood trigger here, which could be problematic. So he quests for 2 with Robin, and now he gets to flip up the top 4 cards of his deck and play an action that costs 6 or less for free. So we see a Down in New Orleans there, which is probably the best hit that you could hope for with that deck. So now he gets to look at the top 3 cards of his deck and play a character, item, or location that costs 6 or less for free, but somehow he misses and gets all actions. So he doesn't actually get to play anything for free there. Plays Lilo, which readies the Robin Hood. It can't quest again, so it can't double trigger, but it does protect it from challenging, which is frustrating for us. So we ink a Tipo. We do get Elsa now, so we pay 5 to tap down Robin Hood. And then we have to take Elsa and Dumbo into Robin to take him out. He's too much of a threat to ignore, and then we'll quest for 2 with Genie. Our opponent sets up a Maui Half Shark, which is a pretty big threat, especially now there's fewer ways to remove him. Or we tap Elsa to do the effect that Dumbo provides to draw a card, gain a lore. And then we do the same thing with Dumbo. So at this point, we're just committing to exerting stuff, hoping to maybe draw an answer for the shark. But we're just gonna have to accept that the shark's probably gonna take out a character here. Since we've already exerted some stuff, we might as well quest with Genie as well, so we quest for 2. So our opponent plays 4 for Raya. So her effect is that once per turn, when you ink a card, you can ready a character, which is going to get extra value off of the shark here. So the shark challenges Genie, and he gets to return an action card to his hand. So he brings back Develop Your Brain. Got a limited amount of ink here, so he's taking something back that he can play this turn. So he actually inks the Develop, which readies the Half Shark. Half Shark is now able to challenge our Elsa. And this time he brings back Down in New Orleans. So he pays 1, play Develop, which gains a lore off the Half Shark. The Half Shark should have 4 damage here. It ends up not mattering, but it did challenge another character. We just didn't update the damage counter, but no big deal. So he quests for 3 with Lilo and Tipo. So he's got a lot of threats on the board now. He's got a Half Shark that we need to deal with. The Raya is going to give a lot of value if we ignore the Raya. So we pay 7 for Hades to get rid of the Raya. And then we have Dumbo sing Into the Unknown to take care of the Half Shark. I didn't want to sacrifice the Dumbo. And then we ink, so that way we can use the other Dumbo's effect to exert it and gain a lore and draw a card. So the board's a bit less daunting now for sure. He pays 4 for Robin Hood and 6 for Powerline. Quest with the Tipo and quest with the Lilo. So he's trying to make sure that he keeps up with lore, because it's hard to catch up with, less big removal stuff now. So we pay 7 for another Hades. And I choose to remove the Robin Hood here, even though the Powerline is a big threat. The Robin Hood could end up getting a lot more value. He's got a small hand size, so the chances of getting a trigger for the Rockstar is probably not as much. We have Dumbo sing Into the Unknown on the Lilo, getting rid of the 2 questing threat. Pay 2 for Magic Feather. So Magic Feather allows you to give a character evasive. And I give it to the Hades because the Rockstar Powerline can actually challenge and take out the Hades, but now that he is evasive, he's kind of protected from that. Our opponent pays 2 for Sale. They're just looking to draw a card. They set up another Powerline World's Greatest Rockstar, and they do have the Down in New Orleans. So of the 3 things that they flip up, a Tipo was the only character they hit, which would be the worst character in their deck. Very unfortunate. And now they get a trigger for Powerline. They get to look at the top 4 cards of their deck and play a 9-cost song or less for free. And the song that they get is All Is Found, which isn't going to make a difference in this situation. It's just going to give them 2 more ink. So at this point, they don't have a hand, and we're quite far ahead on board. Probably no way for them to catch up there. So he goes ahead and scoops, and we'll move on to game 2. So our opponent's going first this game. Starts off by inking into a Develop, which is a pretty good start. So here we ink Tipo and pass. Obviously we have another ramp, so just debating if we want to do Sail or do Tipo. Our opponent inks and they play a Sail. So we ink a Monstro. It's going to be a long time before we could play that, and then we play a Sail. Inking Bell, and then we pass. So again, another game without a 1-drop. So our opponent sets up a Powerline. This is a shift target for them, and then they end up inking and playing another Powerline. So we ink a Hypnotic Strength and set up a Yago. The Yago is good because if he shifts and doesn't remove the Yago, then it can trade for the big Powerline. And it just has a nice sized body if he does exert here. So our opponent does shift, and unfortunately they have B-King. We only have 1 character, and I think that it's worth emphasizing the importance of getting 1-drops because B-King is going to be one of the most popular removals in the game. So having a 1-drop on turn 1, even if you don't exert it, just to protect your bigger characters is kind of important in this meta, I feel. So he plays the B-King, he does the trigger for the Rockstar and doesn't hit another song, so he's not able to get that free value. So we play 4 for Dumbo and pass. So you quest with both characters, Setting up the Raya means that when he inks, he can ready the power line. So he inks Sail, readying power line. Power line sings All Is Found, allowing him to gain 2 cards from his discard into his ink, and triggering the power line effect, so he can look at the top 4 cards and play a 9 cost or less song for free. So he hits Dig a Little Deeper, which is actually a pretty great hit, because this lets you look at 7 cards and draw 2. So it's nice to get some extra card draw here. Card draw seems a lot more hard to come by post-rotation. So he adds 2 cards to his hand, puts the rest on the bottom, and passes. At this point, he's got a pretty good board built up here. So you pay 5 for Ursula. She lets you exert a character and then play a song for free equal to or less than the cost of that character. So she exerts the Raya, which costs 4, but we play the Into the Unknown for free, targeting the power line World's Greatest Rockstar, and then we trade our Dumbo into the Raya to get rid of the extra value the Raya provides. It's important not to let their board get too big, because we don't have any board wipes or any real efficient ways to remove a lot of stuff in this matchup. So we need to make sure that we're trying to keep their board under control. So they play Maui Half Shark, and then they pay 2 for Vision of the Future, which gains them a lore. They have Bee King, which is sung by Powerline, taking out Ursula, and they gain a lore for Half Shark off that as well. So they're really doing a good job of stopping us from building a board here. Unfortunately, the best that we can do on our turn is play Finders Keepers to draw some cards, so we're not building a board at all. Play a 1-cost Diablo just to get something down, but we really need a Hades here so we could target the Half Shark, but we ink a card and pass. Our opponent plays Develop, which gains a lore from the Half Shark's wayfinding ability. The shark is a big threat in this meta for sure. There's even less ways to remove it. Being able to recur actions in limited card draw format seems very strong. He elects not to exert the power line in case we have a way to trade the Diablo into it. We play Hypnotic Strength on Diablo, drawing a card. We trade the Diablo, drawing another card. And now at least we have a 5-cost evasive setup, so we can try and find a way to deal with the shark, and then we play a 1-cost Diablo using our last ink. This kind of insulates the Elsa against the Bee King. Having only 1 character on board against red is kind of like the old days with Lady Tremaine, but with Bee King being what it is, you need to always try and have at least 2 characters down to protect your good character. Unfortunately here we still don't have a Hades to get rid of the Half Shark. So they quest with Half Shark, they hard cast All Is Found, gaining 2 more ink, but really they're just doing it to gain the lore off of wayfinding. So we hard cast another Finders Keepers. It's unfortunate that we're still trying to dig for an answer for this Half Shark, and Into the Unknown would be really huge right here. So we ink a Magic Feather, we play Iago, so now at least Iago and Elsa combined are able to take out the shark. And we don't exert the Diablo because we don't want the shark to challenge and get an action back, but we also don't want to have, the worst character be one of our evasives. So as you can see here, it does protect us from this Bee King. He plays it, gains a lore, but we do get to draw a card. And then they quest with Tipo. So we play Ursula, exerting the Half Shark, and we cast All Is Found for free, which lets us take 2 cards from our discard and put them into our ink. And then we trade the 2 characters into the shark and finally get it off the board. We pay 4 for Genie, drawing a card. We ink and pass. Our opponent pays 9 for Maleficent Dragon, targeting our evasive, and then they quest up to 16. So we hit Elsa, the Spirit of Winter, allowing us to freeze 2 characters so they don't ready. We freeze Maleficent Dragon and Tipo, but I use the Ursula to take the Tipo out. And we play a Dumbo, gives us some options for next turn. Our opponent doesn't play a character. And we just have to decide what the most efficient way to deal with this dragon is. It would be nice to keep the Elsa because she does quest for 3, but I want to be able to use the Dumbo's effect to gain a lore and draw a card. So we pay 5 for Belle, which lets us take the 1 damage off Ursula, transfer it to the dragon, and then we can trade Elsa into it, so we at least keep our Ursula here. So we're gonna dump as many characters as we can. We do have to catch up. We quest with Ursula and pass. Our opponent plays Sail, and they draw Dig a Little Deeper off of that, which is pretty good draw because they're in a bad state with their hand. This lets them look at 7 and take 2 cards, which gives them, a lot of possibilities. So we tap Dumbo to draw a card, gain a lore. We pay 8 for Monstro. And we pay 2 to equip the Magic Feather to Monstro. So now with the Dumbo, Monstro, and Magic Feather, next turn we have the possibility to gain 1 lore for every ink that we have if he doesn't have an answer here. So we pretty much can win the game next turn, unless he does something dramatic, which he does. So he has 3 Pirate's Life in hand. He inks 1, which goes up to 12 ink. And then he's able to pay 6 for each Pirate's Life, which gets him up to 20 and knocks us back down to 4, giving him the game. So that Dig a Little Deeper was huge, because it let him set up that play. So we got robbed, we didn't get to do our Wombo combo, but it was nicely played by him. So game 3, I'm on the play. So we start by inking Elsa, Fifth Spirit, and we play a Royal Guard. So we did get a 1-drop this time, which will help protect us from the Bee Kings. Our opponent plays turn 1 Develop. So we ink, play Sail, draw a card, and ink again. And we quest on the empty board with our Royal Guard, gaining a lore. Our opponent plays Develop. So unfortunately they missed ramp here, which is going to hurt them quite a bit. We ink an Ursula, we pay 4 for Genie, and then we quest with our Royal Guard again. So with our opponent behind on development and our board building, I think that the strategy kind of naturally shifts to a more aggressive play style here for us. We just want to try and quest out and get ahead of them. So our opponent does ramp this turn. They do play Sail, allowing them to ink twice, which means that they're going to kind of get back on curve. They play a Tipo and they ink a 3rd time. So now they're up to 5 ink, and they could develop like a Half Shark or a Power Line on 6 ink. We play another Genie, ink a Royal Guard, and then we quest for 3. So our opponent does ink and then play the Shark, as we kind of predicted might happen. So we do have Elsa. Elsa exerts the Shark, and then Genie sings Into the Unknown. So this game we are able to actually deal with it in a timely manner, which will make a big difference. And now we can quest for 3 with our Genie and Royal Guard. So our opponent plays a World's Greatest Rock Star and pass, which is pretty slow, because they can't sing anything that's going to do like a whole lot of damage to our board, so it seems pretty good. So we have Elsa sing All Is Found, gaining us 2 more ink, and then we quest out. So our opponent does sing Bee King. We remove our Royal Guard, which obviously is the kind of worst card on our side of the board. They get another trigger with the World's Greatest Power Line and look at the top 4. Unfortunately, they don't hit any songs here, so it's a big miss. They play Lilo, allowing them to ready, but at this point, they don't have another song for him to sing and do the trigger again. And we did have 3 Genies and Elsa. So with a board that big, he just goes ahead and scoops. So we do get the win here in the series. You can see that our deck is a lot more aggressive and can be quite fast, whereas his deck is bigger and more high rolly. So it's like kind of a more greedy strategy. I think that both lists definitely still need some refinement, but it was nice to play some games and try out the post-rotation format. So it was a lot of fun, and my opponent is a great player. Just had some real bad luck with the power lines in the down in New Orleans, which I think, you know, when you're playing a deck that has a high roll, that can definitely happen. So that's the video. I'm excited to try the new meta. It definitely feels way different. The power level, the card draw, everything seems a lot smaller. It's going to take some getting used to, but I think that there's going to be room for innovation, which is a fun thing. So thanks for checking out the video. Cheers.